Here with another cast from the NA team battle. We are now on game number 7, and we have a pretty strong lead for Team Zerg in no small part thanks to this player who won our last game, StRyKeR. But he is going to have his work cut out for him because probably the best Protoss in NA for the last several years is his opponent. It's DragOn. And definitely I would say that DragOn is extremely good at this matchup, Protoss versus Zerg, especially considering he does quite oftentimes switch into Zerg to play against Protoss. So he really understands both sides of this matchup. So I think StRyKeR's going to have a hard time taking DragOn down. In fact, I could see DragOn possibly going on a bit of a run here against Team Zerg. Definitely feels like he and Gypsy have some potential to carry on their team against such a Zerg-heavy lineup, both being extremely good against the race. Now, the map is Polypoid, and as we see, DragOn scouting immediately to that bottom right. It's not where StRyKeR is at, which he will soon find out. And whenever you see someone scout like that, it generally means that it's going to be a Forge fast expand, or, I mean, sometimes a Nexus into Forge, but we'll see about that. Now, StRyKeR just sending his Overlord directly south. We see that it is, in fact, a pool first. In fact, that might be a 9 pool right there. Ooh, you might actually catch DragOn off guard. No, DragOn is sending down a second probe, so that's definitely for a Forge. And it looks like he'll scout to the north. So I think he's going to be ready. Overall, he should be getting there before the Zerglings are out and able to start that cannon pretty quickly. Second probe going towards that top right as we speak. So this will be the last position he gets to scout here against StRyKeR. But certainly he will quickly get down there to warp in a cannon for some defense. Now, 6 Lings on the way. We'll see if he makes another pair here as the next larva pops out in a couple seconds. Up comes DragOn. Sees the eggs. All right, definitely knows what's going on. Let's see. Yeah, oh, look at that. Already has 2 cannons starting up. And blocks the hatchery as well. Very smooth move there with that probe. Oh, gets back on top of the probe as well. I mean, on top of the drone with the probe. Throws down the pylon. Oh, so annoying. Now the 5 Lings are going across the map. Couple cannons, though, going to be warping in here very, very shortly. Oh, this seems like it might be a little bit tighter than it looks. Oh, no, he actually turns around. Looks like StRyKeR has decided he is not going to get in there in time. So DragOn going to be completely fine as his 2 cannons finish up, and certainly going to be going for the Nexus now. In the meantime, we have StRyKeR at 12 o'clock. This is going to be his first hatchery, which would normally be his 3rd base. And there you go. His natural finally goes down. These probes chasing down that probe. Or these, sorry, these Zerglings chasing down that probe as quickly as he can here. Now, I mean, obviously he'll end up catching that probe in a little bit. We'll see if DragOn throws out a secondary one. He's got him kind of boxed in because of this pool position. It's very hard to get out of there. Oh, actually a little bit of a micro error there. He brought only 1 Ling for the flank instead of 2. So, oh well, I guess DragOn will keep that probe alive, at least for now. Gas coming up, gate coming up. All, you know, as far as like a 9 pool opener against a Forge fast expansion, this all looks pretty normal. I think DragOn can't be unhappy with his position, but nothing really wrong, I guess, with StRyKER's either. Always kind of nice to make him get those cannons a bit earlier. Cybernetics core coming up. Gas finishing here as well. That probe, though, still alive somehow, which I think is probably the biggest thorn in StRyKER's side. And in fact, StRyKER is going for a Hydralisk den. So it looks like he wants to do a bust, but the probe just won't die. Like, again, it looked like he was trapped back here, but the flank of just 1 Ling, the probe got out with like 5 health left. He just, has to be StRyKER kicking himself at this point. Couple Lings sitting on the ramp, which can be a little bit suspicious. But I mean, if you don't kill the probe, it's going to see the Hydras way in advance, right? So as long as this thing is alive, he's in pretty good shape. The rest of his Lings sitting down here. He hasn't made any more for chasing, so that's good at least. And is it time to send anything else out? Well, only drones being produced right now. I think that's pretty normal for this moment, though. I think pretty soon, though, he does have to start that Hydralisk production if he wants to do a bust. Stargate a little bit over halfway done. +1 just now starting. Drone comes out. Oh, is he trying to chase it? No, okay. It looks like that was like maybe a faulty rally going on, but that could be a little bit suspicious in and of itself. Now, Hydra's about to pop. Oh my God, he lost it right before the Hydras came out. Like literally a second or two before Hydras came out. He kept that probe alive for 5 minutes and 21 seconds. That was one of the first 4 probes in the game, and it just died before seeing what's what. So that is very painful for DragOn. Now, luckily, he already has 2 cannons. Looks like he does see that incoming Hydralisk, right? So he needs to get more cannons down ASAP. All right, probe comes out of that geyser, throws down another cannon here. Let's see how many cannons he ends up making. Actually, pulls back these Zealots pretty far. Still more Hydras being made, as well as that range upgrade for those Hydras. Another cannon, more cannons. He is going to bust down this wall very, very quickly. Another pylon in the back there. Does he have enough right now? Corsair going across the map. As long as he still sees Hydras coming up, he can keep making cannons. The Hydras come up for that bust. Okay, loses a Hydra, maybe a couple Lings, but does pop one of the cannons at least. Another cannon being warped in here, well ahead of that pylon, so we can put one behind as well. Hydras do have their range attack, but they are bugging out a little bit. He's got to hit like a hold position command on him. Remaneuvering them now to be able to hit that forge. It looks like he should not be able to save this +1 attack. In the meantime, the Corsair taking a little bit of hull damage here. Let's go back down, look at the actual push. We have 4 that are done, 3 more on the way. The amount of defense that is being forced in is seriously serious here. The forge ends up falling. Another forge being made in the main. He doesn't have his +1, unfortunately. I think that's one of the biggest pains here for DragOn. Because it seems as if he's not going to end up dying. He is up as far as workers go. His production's been all right. He's getting some more gates here in the main base. Of course, these are all going to be a little bit late because he had to make all these cannons. But, of course, StRyKeR being slowed down economically as well. But honestly, I feel like he's done a good job of not over-making the Hydras. Like, maybe he read that he couldn't bust, or maybe this was part of the plan anyways to force this many cannons. But looking at it right now, like the actual drone count's not too bad comparatively. 26 to 34, and he has a bunch more on the way. So his economy is going to recover. We see the makings of a macro game on the way, right? Like an evolution chamber here. We have the hatchery for macro, another macro hatchery at the 3rd base. Lots of drones being produced. And again, no upgrades as of yet here for poor DragOn. He's throwing down a secondary forge, which I really like. It's a great way for him to start to catch up on those upgrades. Try to outscale his opponent with some of these awesome like 1-1 pushes, 2-2 pushes, stuff like that. Ooh! Down goes the Corsair. So with it, the rest of his scouting, at least for now. Robo coming up. And yeah, okay. I think I get what's going on here, right? Like he's throwing down the Robo now. And he has the 4 gates. He's going Templar Archives. He has double forge. I would love to see just like a ground pounding force going out for DragOn, right? Like it doesn't feel like there can be too quick a switch into mutas, but as I say that, there is a Spire on the way. He has 3 gases, so maybe that is the plan. Look at this. The Zealots run out and get a huge surround here upon the Hydras. The Hydras trying to run out. He will end up losing quite a few, but the kind of like not looking at his screen at that moment. StRyKeR must have been on a macro cycle at home, because definitely takes a significant amount of damage. Doesn't have that many Hydras sitting back here. In fact, does a beautiful wall in here with a couple Lurker eggs. They have very high armor, so that's definitely going to slow the Zealots down. Hydra's going to try to get pot shots from behind. This group of Hydra's kind of out by itself, and DragOn going to try to surround it here with his massive amount of Zealots. Look at this production that he's actually pulled off here. He added 4 gates. I was going to mention about how he didn't like add a whole bunch more at once, but instead he just had that constant production, which has done very well for him indeed. He's taken complete map control. He's eliminated a lot of the Hydras. But he's going to need a little bit more than that now. Cleaning up some of his cannons here, so he actually has a path to get out with units like Dragoons. More pylons going down for powering more gateways. 1-1, almost halfway done. 4 High Templars already out. Psystorm going to be finishing as well. But now there are mutas on the way. So that Mutalisk tech switch is incoming, but Dragoon range coming up. So maybe this is where DragOn, he pulls up some High Templars, pumps nothing but Dragoons, and just kind of utilizes the cannons he already had here for that Mutalisk defense, as well as the Dragoons that are currently popping out. So StRyKeR right now, Overlord speed on the way, +1 ranged attacks on the way, and a lot more drones. Like a serious, look at that, 13 more drones hatching. And like I mentioned, StRyKeR, I think, tends towards more greedy plays as opposed to aggressive plays. Even though we did see a 9 pull this game, right? He didn't like pull the trigger on anything too crazy. Yeah, we see a Mutalisk tech switch, but honestly, that's a normal move. But he's got like a huge amount of drones. Look at this, 55 to 44 right now. So DragOn is definitely going to be up a bit in army. We'll see if that works out for him. He's gone up to 8 gateways now. Another cannon in the main, a couple goons left behind here for defense, and this High Templar kind of hiding behind the geyser. This is something you can do. You can also hide things in the bottom left where your mini-map is kind of hiding them also, or, you know, behind buildings like this. You can stand behind a gateway, things like that, and it just obscures the vision of it a little bit more. When you're moving at, you know, 200 to 300 actions per minute, you can miss little things like that. So very cute move there by DragOn. Macro StRyKeR really catching its stride right now. He's got a lot of supply out there. More hatcheries coming down. DragOn's starting to move out with some of these Zealots. His +1 armor almost done. A huge amount of Dragoons have been fielded here as well. Observers are out. 7 Dragoons at a time. All right, let's see what he can get done. Look at this. 3 High Templars actually left back. And then 4 more kind of moving around with the army. I'm interested to see what the plan is here. Oh, storms his own observer, unfortunately, but does do some serious damage to these mutas. The mutas having to fly away. It's going to be a lot harder for them to get in and actually pick anything off now. 2-2 coming up here for DragOn. +2 for StRyKeR on those Hydras. He also has an Evolution Chamber and a Queen's Nest on the way. So definitely getting ready to go up to Hive, maybe get Defilers, some Zergling upgrades as well. Okay, now DragOn getting ready for his attack. He's down 16 workers, but that means his army is a little bit stronger than what it looks like supply-wise. Okay, going to start storming on this ramp a little bit. This is such a good defense from StRyKeR, though. These high ground locations with Lurkers are so difficult to break through. The Zealots come up, they get a kill, but a lot of damage being dealt. Most of their shields being stripped away. Zergling's trying to come in to get some snipes here also. And, oh, nice storm. He does end up saving those High Templars. Oh, no! Oh, he loses one there to that Lurker. Taking some real damage. DragOn trying to push up once again, but the Zerg macro might be overwhelming at this point. It seems like he has so many units coming up. Look at the amount of Lurkers actually hatching out here for StRyKeR. Okay, another storm goes down. But again, not a lot going on here. He is getting a 3rd base, more Dragoons coming. But I mean, the Dragoons are not really making a dent in this ramp, unfortunately. And StRyKER's sitting here on this many hatcheries. Look at this. 2, 5, 6, 7, 8 hatch macro going on. I guess the mutas are gone, but a lot of High Templars have fallen. The Lurkers just kind of rotating over to where they need to be defensively. Still some good production, mostly Dragoons being made. So I think that DragOn has realized that, you know what, he needs to be able to overpower this and just win the game very, very soon if he's going to take this down. And Dragoons sometimes can be that snowball unit for you if you get that advantage. Storm onto the high ground as one of the observers does get picked off. A lot of splash damage being dealt to these Zealots. Unfortunately, the Lurker eggs have been amazing. All these blocks from StRyKER slowing down the army movement of DragOn. Look at that. Another one morphs just behind as he kills that one off. And DragOn will be able to kill this egg as well, but he's lost a lot of units trying to break this ramp. Still trying to go up there. No storms on this High Templar, unfortunately. Another, well, no, I guess that was an earlier Lurker egg, but kills that one off as well. A lot of units coming in for a flank. You know what? Honestly, this might be as close to game as we're going to get here, because this flank, that means all these units are not making it out of here alive. And yeah, maybe he can kill a decent amount of the Hydras and Lurkers, but without any storm presence, like these Dragoons just aren't doing enough alone. And I think that Dragon's time is running out in this game. StRyKeR just showing some really phenomenal macro so far. You know, as soon as he gets into that situation where he gets a big round of drones off and starts really macroing, if you can't get that punishing attack off, it seems like he is just getting way ahead. Like, it defends your attacks, and then suddenly he's like, okay, I'm going into Hive, I'm getting everything I need, and now it's time for the counterattacks. Lone High Templar out here. Ooh, gonna punish some of these Hydras trying to chase him down. Oh no, the 113 health Hydra gonna end up getting the High Templar. I guess they end up trading with each other. But all these trades good for StRyKeR right now because his economy is getting really, really large. Sending some Hydras, making a Lurker over here in the top right as he expands for his 6th base. And DragOn is taking this gas expansion, which is very, very important. You know, this is something I talk about for PvZ. A lot of maps have a 3rd base that's a mineral base, which isn't as helpful for Protoss, but it's like a leapfrogging base, right? You take this base and it helps fund taking the other base. And then you actually get a really nice economy going. 3 gas and 4 mineral is like, that's a very, very large amount of units coming out for Protoss. You're easily going to be able to max out off of that if you can get up, if you can hold it. Now, looks like this Dragoon is the unlucky scout, but lucky for DragOn that he sees these units coming from the side. DragOn's supply is really low, though, comparatively right now, right? Like, let's not forget the army he lost up here. That really made this a lot more difficult, unfortunately. You know, you lose that much army, and it's just going to be tough to hold on. StRyKeR coming down the side with these units. He does have a huge rally into the center. Some Lurkers set up there as well. Still has this massive Lurker defense. Looks like he's sending some Lings just over to the side. Not sure what that drone is all about. Maybe just a bad rally. And, like, yeah, he can clear areas like this, but StRyKeR is getting close to max right now. 176 supply Zerg on Hive is pretty darn scary. He has the Defiler mound out. Defiler's starting to come out as well. Not sure if he has Consume yet, but that's where the Dragoons start to become much, much weaker. We do have +2/+2 done here for DragOn. He's gained that +3 attack, but has skipped the armor, which I think is fine if you're a little bit low on money. Yeah, Consume is done, so we're going to see some Dark Storms going down. Surely Plague, yeah, Plague getting researched right now. Great storms right there. Clearing out some of these Lurkers. Okay, okay, DragOn's starting to roam the map and actually get some good pickoffs here, we see. Wings just kind of coming in, trying to pick some units off. Ooh, nice storm there. We do see a lot of Lings come in trying to pick off High Templars later in the game, but look at this. A StRyKeR deciding to just go ahead and hit. Looks like his Defiler going a little bit too far. All these Lurkers over on the side, they are clumped up, so if we can get a good storm off, they just start to split as DragOn hits them with the storms. DragOn pulling back right now. These Lings just flooding down. And DragOn's army, like, he's maintaining the base of it. This is something I really like to see from Protoss, is maintaining your key units. Like, yeah, lose some Zealots. You can lose a few Dragoons here and there. But overall, the Archons, the High Templars have done a pretty good job staying alive, gaining that value over time. So he does storm down a couple Lurkers right there. That Morphing Archon, unfortunately, finishes to his own death. And now a 5th base being taken by DragOn. But don't forget, we do have Cracklings out. They can kill off these cannons super quickly. And, of course, Dark Swarm, the bane of cannons. Now, these units coming down. Looks like it will just be held by the Warping and cannons. Oh, no. More units coming as well. A Dark Swarm is ready. And that means that this base is most likely going to die. Lurker's coming down. And, well, with the Observers here, he definitely can clear these out at least. But can he save that Nexus? It doesn't look like it. Cracklings on a Protoss building in the late game do a pretty fantastic job, no doubt. Zealots coming down. Looks like they aren't targeting that Nexus anymore, so maybe DragOn can end up saving this base. But in the meantime, the macro of StRyKeR continues. Look at this. Lings and Lurkers all over the place. More bases being taken. He's up at 59 drones, a very healthy number. And it does look like this base is going to have to get given up. I mean, this is something that StRyKER is just going to kill. And I think without this, Like, you know, it was already painful earlier in the game, losing chunks of army here and there, but DragOn started to come back with his nice roaming, with his picking off of key units and positions that he was clearing, but at the end of the day, he's just not going to have the economy that he needs to fight such a macro-intensive Zerg. Now, some great storms come down as these Lurkers and Defilers come up under the Dark Swarm. Yeah, I mean, the storms are amazing. Maybe maybe he holds on to this base right now. Oh, the Zealot's turning around. Actually, those were low, but okay, GG. StRyKeR takes down DragOn.